Hello, it's good to see you again. Today we are going to work on the language exercises of the national exam. If you remember, last time we worked on comprehension exercises and I showed you how you can deal with them. So first let's have a look at the exercises and then see again how you can deal with them. So exercise A. Fill in the blanks with the appropriate phrasal verbs. And here you have 5 phrasal verbs. You have look up, log out, apply for, fill in, and log on. And you know that in this exercise, actually, you should learn your phrasal verbs, you know, because phrasal verbs, they have idiomatic meaning, not literal meaning. So each one of these mean a different thing, okay? So we have look up, log out, and apply for, fill in, and log on again. So let's read the first one. Why don't you gap that job? I think you have the required qualifications. Okay, so here we have a job. Let's say that you saw an ad in a newspaper and you want that job. And here, the meaning of the phrasal verb that we need here means to make a request, to make a formal request. Okay, so what do you think? Which one of these, we need here? And I want you to think about it. And it's a good way to practice as well. Okay? So let's have a look now. Let's see. Why don't you finish the sentence? Apply for. Why don't you apply for that job? I think you have the required qualifications. Now, number 2. You need your username and password to gap to your Facebook. Well, again, so what we need here is, the meaning. I'm talking about the meaning of the phrasal verb. It means to start using a computer or a website. Okay, here we need, what we have here is a website. We're talking about Facebook. So Facebook is an application or a website. So in order to do this, to start using Facebook, you need your what? You need your login information. So what do you think? What do we need here? Which one of these phrasal verbs do we need here? What do you think? And I need you to think about it. I gave you half of the answer before, so it's log on. You need your username and password to log on to your Facebook page. Very good. Now, let's move on to the second, or exercise B. Exercise B, we have give. As you can see, give the correct form of the words in brackets. Well, this exercise is about, again, word formation. Okay? So as far as this exercise is concerned, you need to focus or you need to pay attention to suffixes. Well, what do we mean by a suffix? Well, a suffix simply is a letter or group of letters which we add to the end of a word. Why? Because we need to make new words. So now, and here, let's have a look at the first one here. We have Morocco's invest, gap. Okay, so of course, as I said, we need to add a suffix. So Morocco's, what we need here is what? We need a noun. What is the noun of invest? Think about it. It's investment. Morocco's investment. Okay. In and we have renew. The word we have here is renew. And we have energies. Well, again, we need a suffix. We need a suffix to make an adjective. So renew is a verb, and we have energies. We need something to mean clean energies. So renew, what? Renew, renewable, very good. Renewable energies, excellent. Now, next one, we have has proved to be, and we have benefit for the economy and the environment. Benefits, as you can see here. Benefit is a verb. But what we need here again is an adjective, of course. So what is the adjective that we can get from benefits? It's, okay, finish the sentence. It's beneficial for the economy. It means it's good for the economy and the environment. This is a good example of, and we have sustain, development. This one should look familiar to you. You know why? Because it's, you have seen this before. It's the title of one of the units that you have seen, as I said before. Sustain development. You need to make this development continue. Okay, it means to make something continue. Okay, so sustain what? Sustain sustainable development. So now let's move on to the next exercise. Exercise C, as you can see here. Fill in the gaps with the appropriate words from the list. And as you can see here, we're talking about modal verbs. So we have ought to, shouldn't, needn't, wouldn't, and can't. Remember that we use modal verbs because they give additional meaning to the main verb of the sentence. And all of these modal verbs, they express, different functions. They have different uses. So let's have a look at the first one here. We have ought to. Ought to. You ought to do something. So here we have a sense of, obligation. Shouldn't. Shouldn't is used to give advice. Needn't is used to express lack of necessity. Would have different uses. One of them, for example, it's used to make requests. Or it can be used in conditional type 2 in the main clause. And the last one is can't, which is used to express impossibility. So let's read the first one and see which one of these modal verbs do we need here. Number one, it be my little brother who wrote that. He doesn't know a word in English. Well, so my brother, what I'm saying here is that it's impossible for my brother to write that letter. Yeah, so we're talking about a letter, I think, here. Something, okay, it's not a letter. But why? Because he doesn't speak English. So I said it's impossible. So which one of these we said it expresses impossibility? What do you think? Okay, remember that we said can't. Remember? Can't is used to express impossibility. It can't be my little brother who wrote that. He doesn't know a word in English. Number two, we have Layla. Layla, see her doctor. Otherwise, her headaches will get worse. So here, there is a sense of obligation. Layla it's like we're saying if she doesn't see her doctor, her headaches, will become worse. So, and we said that one of these modal verbs is used to express obligation. So what do you think? Which one of these, we said, is used to express obligation? It's, Layla, and again, finish the sentence. It's ought to. Excellent. Next one. We have D. Put the verbs in brackets in the correct form. Well, in this exercise, and we have seen this before, you need to pay attention to, first, you need to give the correct form of the verb. But in order to do this, you need to pay attention to time indicators. So time indicators or signal words will tell you which one of these, or which one of the tenses you should use in these, in the gaps. So let me show you how you can do this. So here, number one, or the first one, I hope you're fine. We have I read, gap, your email, yesterday. As you can see here, we talked about time indicators. So the time indicator here we have is yesterday. So yesterday tells me that I should use what? I should use the simple past. The simple past is a finished action in the past. So now what is the simple past of read? It's I read. Read, read. Okay? So it's the same spelling, but different pronunciation. I read your email yesterday. You seem to be worried. Well, now we have stay with one of my friends because. Okay, now again, we are going to look at this here. Time indicator, now. So now tells us that, the action is happening now, at the moment of speaking. So which tense does this? Okay, we're talking about here. We're talking about this, the present continuous. Remember that the present continuous is verb to be in the simple present plus verb plus ing. Now, I am staying with one of my friends because the next one we have is this. We have not, and the verb is get. So not here tells us that the verb should be in the negative form. And we need to look at the time indicator here, which is yet. So yet, what do you think? Does it look familiar? Yet tells me that I should use what? The present perfect, okay? Which is has or have plus the past participle. Now, just as a reminder, we use the present perfect to talk about an action which, started in the past, and it's not important when it started. And this action is, still has, an effect on the present. Okay? So now let's see what we have to do here. So we have get here and not. So we have to use has or have plus the past participle. So again, and I want you to think about it before we get to the answer. It's have not got. I have not got any answer. Of course, got, you can also say gotten. Americans say gotten. I'm talking about the American spelling of the word. So have not got or have not gotten any answer from the university yet. I hope that by the end of this month, we have moved to my own room on the campus. Take care. Again, I need you to look at this time indicator here, or signal word, which is by the end. By the end means before the end of this month. It means that the action will be completed before the end of this month. So here we're talking about what? We're talking about the future perfect. The future perfect is what? Is will have plus the past participle. So here we are going to say, again, finish the sentence. It's I will have moved. Well done. Now let's move on to the next exercise. So exercise E, okay? Correct the underlined mistakes. So we have here some mistakes and we need to correct them. So let's have a look at number 1. To avoid obesity, doctors advise people not. Okay, we have sitting in front of TV for long hours. So of course there we have the gerund, but here we don't need the gerund, we need the infinitive. So this, I'm just referring you to the lesson, which is the gerund or the infinitive. Okay, so we have advise people is the object, not, finish the sentence, it's not to sit in front of TV for long hours. Number 2, plastic bags are no longer using, of course this one is wrong, gap for shopping in Morocco. Okay, so what's here we're talking about what? We have are, and here we have, what we need is the past participle of the verb. So here we're talking about this, the passive voice. Okay, so now we have the verb, which is there, as you can see, verb to be, and here we need the past participle of the verb to use. So what is the past participle of use? It's this, used. Very simple, as you can see. Plastic bags are no longer used for shopping in Morocco. Number 3, your computer wouldn't have been infected if you install a powerful antivirus. Well, as you can see here, and I want to draw your attention to this, wouldn't have been. Wouldn't have been, and here we have if. So here we're talking about a conditional sentence. Okay, since we have here wouldn't have been, the sentence, as you can see, begins with the main clause, and there we have the here we have the if clause. Well, since here we have wouldn't have been, well, I know that we are talking about conditional type what? It's type 3. Okay, so conditional type 3, okay, we need, it's type 3. So, okay, the form is this, if plus subject plus past perfect, comma, subject plus would or could, plus have, plus the past participle. Well, so what we need here is this, we need the past perfect. Remember that the past perfect is had plus the past participle. Now, what is the past participle of install? It's, again, finish the sentence, it's had installed a powerful antivirus. Now, let's move on to the next exercise. Exercise F. Match each expression to its appropriate function. Well, as you can see here, we have expressions and then functions. So what we need here is, what you need to do here is you need to read the expressions and then try to match them with the appropriate function. So let's read the sentences and then the expressions or the functions we have here. Number one, why don't we check this website for more information? If only I had told my teacher about my absence before. For me, introducing English in primary school is a good idea. I'm afraid this is not the tablet we ordered online. The functions we have expressing opinion, agreeing, suggesting, complaining, and expressing regret. Well, so let's have a closer look at the first one here. It's a question. Why don't we check this website for more information? And where the expression is, why don't we? Why don't we check? So what I'm doing here is I'm asking you to consider something, to think about something. So I'm asking you, or I am suggesting, okay? I am asking you to consider something. I'm asking you to check, or I am suggesting that you check this website for more information. Number two, if only I had told my teacher about my absence before. It's so sad, okay? It's like I'm feeling sorry. So if only I had told, if only I had done something. So what I'm doing here is that I'm expressing regret. If only I had told, or I wish I had told my teacher about my absence before. Number three. For me, introducing English in primary school is a good idea. For me, and of course we have different expressions. You can say, for example, for me, as far as I can tell, in my opinion, etc. So, for me here is used to what? To express this. To express opinion. Number four, I'm afraid this is not the tablets we ordered online. Again, let me repeat this. And, okay, you need to change the tone. I'm afraid this is not the tablets we ordered online. Okay, I am what? I am angry. So, here I'm what? I am showing my dissatisfaction. I am angry. I'm not happy about this service. So I am complaining. Very good. Now let's move on to the last exercise, which is exercise G. Write an appropriate response to each situation here. So here we have two situations. And you need to, respond appropriately. What we mean by appropriate is that you should, what you say should be related to the context here, to the situation. So the first one, you were invited to a party, but you didn't attend. What you need to do is apologize. Well, of course, you can say, as I said, anything. We have different expressions that we can use to express apology. You can say, for example, and this is my suggestion, you can say this. I'm awfully sorry. I was ill and I couldn't make it. It means I couldn't attend. And here we have this, which means I'm showing you or I'm telling you how sorry I am. So I'm awfully sorry. I was ill and I couldn't make it. Number two, teacher, bullying is a serious problem in schools. You express lack of understanding. And of course here, you can say anything. And we have, of course, different expressions that we can use to express lack of understanding. You can say, for example, this. I'm not sure I understand what you mean by bullying. I'm not sure I understand what you mean by bullying. You can say this. You can say, for example, what do you mean by bullying? Okay? Well, as you can see, that's all for today. As you can see, today we worked on comprehension exercises. And before that, we worked on comprehension. So comprehension, language, and next time we are going to work on writing. So see you then.